Great tonight, huh? Well, welcome everybody to the Thursday, May 1st, 2025 Webster Town Board meeting. We will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'm going to drag out roll call. No, I don't have to drag out. So, would you please do roll call?
Supervisor Flaherty.
I am here.
Councilwoman Patel. Present. Councilwoman Wynn. Here. Councilwoman Wright. Here. Attorney for the town, Taylor.
Here. Okay, well, our first order of business tonight is a public hearing to consider an amendment / corrective action to a PDD that was set up in 2019 on Ridge Commons. And from what I can see, nobody else from the public has come in. The three speakers who have signed up to potentially speak when I open the public hearing are the developer, I think the developer's engineer designer, and the developer's legal counsel. I don't think we have anybody from...
No, and we don't all have to speak. Mike's going to do the presentation, and if you have questions that we need to speak, we will.
You got it. The potential speakers are those three. I will just say this for the town board. You will notice that there is no agenda item tonight to vote on the corrective action to amend this PDD. Depending on how tonight goes, we will put that on the Thursday, June 5th town board meeting.
Oh, not the May 15th?
Oh, I'm sorry. That's right. Today's May 1st. Thank you, Ann. Yes, it would go 2 weeks from tonight.
Okay.
Okay? I'm already 15 days ahead of May. Yes, thank you. So, with that being said, this is kind of interesting. We will open the public hearing. And in order of who is on here, I got Ann, I got Michael, and I got Charlie. Do you want to just have Michael?
Mike's going to, he'll go ahead and do the presentation.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the gentleman coming up right now to speak is Michael Montalto, right?
Montalto.
And he is, well, I'll let you introduce yourself there, Michael.
Good evening. Mike Montalto with Costas Engineering, here this evening on behalf of Charlie Fox and with Ann Riley as well for the Ridge Commons PDD amendment, which involves 4 properties on the south side of Ridge Road, bordered by Sheepcraft to the west side of the site. The property addresses are 985, 991, 987, and 1013 Ridge Road. The 4 properties add up to approximately 26 acres of land that are comprised of medium intensity commercial and medium high density residential zoning properties. In December of 2019, we received approval for a PDD, which included, the ordinance was a little different relative to the PDD ordinance. This was also one of the first PDDs that was approved in the town. The PDD was allowed for storage use and senior living, which were not allowed in the medium commercial by right at the time. COVID hit, and our users for the storage and the senior living facility went away. We subsequently have picked it back up and made application to this board last fall for an amendment of the proposal of the PDD, and have been working with town staff primarily regarding some updates that have happened in the PDD ordinance, and the fact that the interpretation was that the PDD should not include residential uses. So the map has been amended, changed, revised, what we've submitted to change the boundary of what would be the PDD. Instead of it being 26 acres, which was the entire holdings, which was for the medium commercial and residential, it's been changed to be approximately 18.9 acres of the land, and only comprises the portions of the property that would be commercial use in accordance with the amendments that have been made to the PDD ordinance and that thing down. Uses that are being presented on the plan from a commercial standpoint are conceptual, which are intended to demonstrate what full build-out capacity would be, of all general commercial uses that would be consistent with the underlying zone. That allows, in essence, the planning board the ability to use discretion relative to the uses, as long as the intensity does not change dramatically from what is being proposed today. So the map has been amended really to correct the fact that the approved PDD map included residential uses, and we've now amended that so that the PDD before you really only is addressing commercial lands. It has approximately 33% of green space. We've looked at all the bulk requirements, and it meets the spirit and intent of the current PDD ordinance, and that it allows for reduced setbacks, shared parking, those kind of things, but doesn't change the overall what would have to happen if they were individual lots. That's an overview of the changes that we've made. I guess at this point I would conclude my formal comments and turn it over for questions. The board may have.
Yeah, this is interesting, because since nobody from the public is taking, I'm going to close the public hearing and then open it up to the town board discussion. And within that, Mike, you might want to stay there, because if there is questions, we'll pay there, but this will be outside. The public hearing is officially closed. Do any of the board members in attendance have any questions for Mike?
I'm a little confused, Mike. I'm sorry, there's so much history to this property. I'm looking at 991 on this map, which is behind the existing commercial uses on Ridge Road. And that site is approximately, did you say 27 acres or 26?
So the PDD incorporates all of even what's the former Rite Aid and Wendy's home. So
The whole thing?
all of this is 26 acres.
Okay.
The PDD limit, Kate, used to come down and follow all of it. There's a zoning line here. This is commercial, this was residential. So we amended the PDD limit to only include the portion that would be.
And that's what we're looking at, is all commercial.
Yes, this is all commercial.
And then what about the portion south of that?
We have no development
Yeah.
plan for that at this point.
It's a great question, and actually, and Josh may be able to help on this, Kyle may be able to help. I appreciate the map that you have up there that's, but on the screens for anybody in attendance or watching this later. Josh Artuzo, the brown is MC, is that correct? Zoning?
Yes,
Which is medium commercial?
medium intensity commercial,
MC.
MC,
Purple, very pretty purple here, is MHR,
correct.
which is,
Medium high density residential.
okay. So the 991, along with this, what is it, 1030 or to the right of that, to the east, this is part of this 26 acres. There's purple and there's brown in your 26 acres. So really, there's a zoning line that goes through the middle of this developer's 26 acres. Okay? Now, here's the thing, and like Mike said, I'm not sure if it was one of our first PDDs back in 2019, I don't have that history, but I do know this. Our DPW department, who was involved in the process of issuing that PDD, nobody from that department in that 2019 is here anymore. Josh Artuzo is the community development director. He was very instrumental in the last couple of months in here on this. The town legal, who was here in 2019, they're not here anymore. Kyle's been very helpful on this. The town board, and really, Patty, I think you're the only one that was here in 2019 prior. Here's a revelation for everybody. We're all human. They made a mistake in 2019. And the beauty of that, and when I say they made the mistake, is that, yeah, they issued the PDD, but by the technical terms of the town code, you can't have a PDD on a residential zoning. It's as simple as that.
Well, you can if it's senior.
And I gotta tell you something, you might wanna go up there, because anybody listening to this, they do not hear you, they do not see you. Charlie, if you wanna go up and you guys wanna do a course line, go ahead.
Just to clarify, because it is, the
And
PDD.
if you wanna go on the microphone, and so we can,
Yeah, the PDD allows senior housing.
Does now. It did not in 20.
No, it did, because that was a senior housing
Alright.
project. It was supposed to.
so I wanna make sure, and I'm trying to help you here, okay? Let's not adjudicate this or litigate this now, because we don't have to. The bottom line is, the PDD is appropriate for MC. It's not an appropriate thing in our code or law or MHR.
Correct.
So we are correcting what happened in 2019. That is what they are here asking us to do. It is really as simple as that. They are not coming here saying, what do you think about this 20-story tower we want to build? Or we want to build a nuclear power plant. They're not going to do that, okay? The first thing they have to do before they get any, Charlie's laughing, before they get any design of what to do on this property, the first thing we need to do is get the skeleton of it correct, which the PDD needs to be truncated back to be correct, to be on MC only. The law and just common sense, I'd like to think, Kyle and Ann, gives us the ability to correct errors. It was an innocent error. I'm not going to sit here, they don't work here anymore, none of those people. So we're not going to take them out for public floggings. God knows when I'm gone, they'll find a million mistakes that I've made. And hopefully you easily can correct them. This is an easy correction. Would you say that, Kyle? And I don't want to ask Ann, because Ann will say it's easy, but she represents the client. You represent the town.
Yeah, as we discussed, and the developer and the town, this is a fix and solves what is the prevailing issue here, to allow the developer to move forward.
Right. What the developer moves forward within, we don't know. I can't wait to see when you come back here, after now.
It's important to note too that the impetus behind this is that we're unable currently really to make any site plan application for the portions of the commercial property because the PED is in error. So anybody who's been interested in commercial development that even follows the zoning ordinance has not been able to make application for site plan approval.
It's really that simple. I want to make sure I went a little deep in the well on this, as far as explaining it, because we don't have the full board tonight. And in 2 weeks, May 15th, not June, I assume that we'll have a full board and that John Cahill will be here. I will ask him to read the minutes of this that Deneen does a wonderful job on. And I will ask him also to watch the video and audio of this part of it, so that when we do come back here on May 15th, this should be a relatively simple resolution to pass, and we move on. But I guess,
Question.
Sure.
Quick question. To do this, do you have to subdivide the property? So it's two separate parcels, or can the PDD just be to the limit of zoning without subdividing?
I think that question is for Kyle or Josh, and once again, all due respect to Mike and to Ann, you're the client. I would like the town's answer on that.
It does not require a subdivision right now. Pending the developer's plans in the future, it may at a future point in time, but simply for the purpose of the PUD, it does not.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments from the board?
Does it need public input or anything, or are we all done with that?
This is the public hearing, and to be honest with you, I would have, I don't know, I can't figure out board meetings, and I've been doing this 5.5 years. I was somewhat, a little bit stunned that nobody from the public was here to speak at a very advertised public hearing, because usually some people, there's 45,000 people in town will come and say something, so. But that's why we wait for the public input, and we try best as we can to not do a resolution on the same night as the public hearing, because it doesn't, that's not a good look for us. We want to hear what the public has to say. We give them that forum of a public hearing. It was tonight, it's closed. I think we're done on this agenda item.
And for anyone who's tuning in after we closed it, it's closed because there was no one here to comment.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Ann and Mike. Charlie, always good to see you.
Thanks for your time.
Our next item, this is going to be interesting, because I know you had to table the third minutes because we only had 2 of the 3 attending board members. Well, first I should step back. Nobody signed up to speak for the 5 minutes open to the floor for anything their heart desires. Is that changed? Does anybody want to? Okay, I don't want to skip that agenda item if there was a taker. So, through the open to the floor. We're on to minutes, board meeting minutes to be considered for approval.
Can I preempt this for a moment?
Sure.
They were tabled from our last meeting. If you remember, Supervisor, you were not at the meeting, and I was presiding in your place. I could not make a motion or vote on these because I had not been present at the April 3rd. So I'm going to remove myself from that right now. I can't take a motion, and I can't vote on either of these. I mean, I can vote, I will abstain.
But Jenny and Jennifer and I were here for the
Yes.
April 3rd, so we can do those.
Right.
There's 3 of us, we have 4. So I have read those minutes, I was here. I make a motion that we approve the workshop minutes from April 3rd.
Supervisor Flaherty.
Aye.
Councilwoman Wynn. Aye. Councilwoman Cataldi.
Abstain.
Councilwoman White.
Aye.
And then I make a motion that we approve regular town board meeting minutes from April 3rd.
Second.
Supervisor Flaherty.
Aye.
Councilwoman Wright.
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi.
Abstain.
Councilwoman Wynn.
Aye.
And then the 3 of you were here for the 17th, so, oh, you can do them, okay. That was the math part that's having the problem.
So I will make a motion that we approve the April 17th, 2025 minutes as submitted by Deneen.
Second.
Councilwoman Cataldi.
Aye.
Councilwoman Wright.
Aye.
Supervisor Flaherty.
Abstain?
Councilwoman Wynn.
Aye.
We're caught up.
We did that.
Love when a plan comes in.
Yes.
Alrighty, I'm not even gonna guess. I just hope
So
it
so
wasn't
you and I
Councilman
crossed,
Cahill.
you and I crossed paths in town hall yesterday.
That's
It's because I was here to review the bills, and I found everything to be in order, so I would make a motion that we approve them as submitted by our Director of Finance.
Second.
Councilwoman Cataldi.
Aye.
Councilwoman Wright.
Aye.
Supervisor Flaherty.
Aye.
Councilwoman Wynn.
Aye.
And, first of all, when Paul is not in attendance, I think he's almost like a security blanket to me. I like my accountant in the room, but he said, "You'll be okay, Tom. I'm gone this week, but Paul's good, right? Just, you know." So with that being said, I have reviewed the prepaid warrants as submitted by Paul Adams, Director of Finance. I make a motion that we approve them.
Second.
Supervisor Flaherty.
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi.
Aye.
Councilwoman Nguyen. Councilwoman Wright.
Aye.
And I have reviewed the purchase orders as submitted by the Director of Finance, Paul Adams, and make a motion that we approve those.
Second.
Supervisor Flaherty.
Aye.
Councilwoman Nguyen.
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi.
Aye.
Councilwoman Wright.
Aye.
And to give you, it's always the speed dating, so I'll give you a moment to breathe, Amy. I want to thank Councilwoman Wright. She has taken the bull by the horns proverbially and has started a team, task force, whatever you want to call it, to digitize our heavily papered purchase orders and vouchers.
Yes, indeed.
And I'm really excited, you know.
I'm super excited.
Yeah,
And
thank
we
you.
had a very productive first meeting. And we're also talking about doing another RFP for garbage disposal, not,
Oh, not a garbage district or garbage, this is just for our town.
yes, it's not for
Sludge hauling.
sludge
Sludge,
hauling,
yeah.
thank you. The words escape me, not for sludge hauling, just for garbage. So we're looking for opportunities to digitize and save some money. Good stuff.
I love it. Next one, I'm gonna let Josh explain why we're gonna table this.
Sure. Yeah, so as you may recall, I believe it was about a month ago at this point, myself and the code enforcement officer came and presented at a workshop regarding some proposed amendments to our property maintenance code and some other sections dealing with code enforcement. And unfortunately, we are still in the process of finalizing those edits. The deeper we got into it, we realized that there were other implications to other sections of the code. So rather than rush through it, we want to make sure that we get it right. So we anticipate coming back, instead of requesting that a public hearing be at the next meeting on the 15th, I believe we'll be in a position to have it on June 1st instead. So, I'm sorry, the first meeting in June.
Okay. So, I mean, the way this resolution is written, it's so specific to May 15th and May 7th. Is this, I don't want to put you on the spot, Kyle, is it tabling this and, you know, because we'll come back and we'll not be doing that resolution?
It's appropriate to table and then we can amend the resolution.
Thank you.
And on the next agenda.
That sounds like a deal. All right, okay. What was it? I'll make a motion to table the public hearing for May 15th and potential code changes related to code enforcement. And that was to be advertised on May 7th in Webster Herald.
Second.
Supervisor Flaherty.
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi.
Aye.
Councilwoman Nguyen.
Aye.
Councilwoman Wright.
Aye.
Well, this is the resolution that spawns off of Josh's workshop presentation about a half an hour ago. Does anybody have any questions on this? Because there might still be a few. I mean, I guess I'm interested to see what the bids come in at. Okay. I'm going to make a motion to solicit bids for demolition services at 600 Ridge Road, tax ID number 078.20-1-11, and advertise in the May 7th, 2025 edition of the Webster Herald. Bids will be open for 24 days. The bid process will be open for 24 days, where we will open those bids on Friday, May 30th, 2025.
Second.
Supervisor Flaherty.
Aye.
Councilwoman Wright.
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi.
Aye.
Councilwoman Nguyen.
Aye.
Okay, the next two, and I think this is, Kristen, what you're here for.
It is.
And I know Pat Stevens, our highway superintendent, and also Art, well, he's up there, our deputy DPW commissioner. They've got their John Hancocks on some things about these two resolutions. And Pat, Art, either one, you want to explain what's going
Yeah, I can give a bit of an overview. I started working with Kristen a very long time ago now, back in 2023, for her desire to fence in as large a portion possible as her backyard. Unfortunately, this is one of the yards that has town easement over it. It's primarily for drainage. There's a drainage pipe that goes across to her backyard. So we met originally, we discussed the concept of a licensing agreement and the configuration that existed out there that wasn't feasible. So Kristen has been pursuing and establishing a way to have that portions of that easement removed from the property so that we don't have to do a license agreement. And she can fence in a larger portion of her yard for her family. We've now gotten to a point where that can be done. So these are resolutions to abandon portions of utility easements. It turns out, after research, there's both sewer and drainage easements in the exact same footprint, which isn't typical and makes this significantly more complicated, which is why there's 2 resolutions rather than 1, and requires our signature. There aren't any sewer-related infrastructure pieces, parts, in the portions that we're doing. There's only drainage. I've evaluated the drainage portions that are there. Kristen has agreed to reconfigure some of them. So there will be a portion of the easement on the rear portion of her lot that will be abandoned. And then there will be a portion down one side of the lot that will be taken as some of the piping she is going to reroute it at her cost and have a yard that she can fence in more of. So it's quite a complicated situation. When we get down to nuts and bolts, we worked a lot with Josh and Kyle on the nuts and bolts of it. It's logistically complicated. They've been a huge help in getting these resolutions here. And then Kristen has done all the legwork leading up to it to establish these configurations, and we'll be redoing the infrastructure and a lot of stuff. So that's what the resolutions are for, to accomplish that as soon as possible.
Kristen, I apologize that you had to do this on behalf of the town of Webster. I assume that you are not the original owner that this house was built?
I am the original owner.
Okay.
But
See,
it
that's
wasn't-
what happens when you assume.
It wasn't necessarily clear when I purchased it.
No, it wouldn't be. You had 1,000 pages when you closed. And, okay, well, I shouldn't have assumed that. Yeah, we're finding out that sometimes the way developers and or the town approves prior easements of utilities maybe wasn't completely thought out, and then you'd have to do these corrective actions, and sorry it took that long. But they have said that you've been phenomenal in this whole process.
They've been very helpful, so.
They're good
Or
guys.
Pat is tired of my emails, I'm sure.
Any questions from the board?
I don't have any questions, it just sounds like it's been an exhaustive process, and I want to thank all of you for the patience and the willingness to work collaboratively and get it done.
It's been very, very helpful, so appreciate it.
I do have one more question. Pets or children or both?
Both.
Okay,
Both.
there you
One
go.
more than one on the way.
Oh, no kidding. Hey, congratulations. Well, maybe this kind of falls in both of your, again, it's more highway.
It's drainage centric
Okay.
as far as.
Jen, you want to take it?
Make a resolution to abandon portions of and take by easement new portions of a sanitary sewer easement and stormwater drainage easement located at 1129 Shellowbrook Terrace, tax ID account number 095.05-4-10.1.
Second. Councilwoman Bright.
Aye.
Councilwoman Wynn.
Aye.
Supervisor Flaherty.
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi.
Aye.
And since it's the property right next door, I will also make a resolution to abandon portions of a sanitary sewer easement and stormwater drainage easement located at 1131 Shellowbrook Terrace, tax account ID number 2.9.1.
Second.
Councilwoman Wright? Aye. Councilwoman Wynn?
Aye.
Supervisor Flaherty?
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi?
Aye.
All right, the next item up tonight, I got a little egg in my face. I was planning to call somebody this afternoon and say, can you just give me a brief understanding of what we're doing here? So I'm going to hear it for the first time, like everybody else, whether it's from Kyle, whether it's from Pat Stevens, Art, Josh. Who would be best to explain number?
I can take it. I was expecting that the applicants would be here to present on their behalf, but it doesn't appear that they're here tonight. So I mean, I'll leave it up to the board if you'd like me to present on their behalf. It's essentially any new development in the industrial district requires a referral from the town board to the planning board for the purpose of site plan review. So we did receive this application. It's for I believe a 3-tenant industrial type complex on Basket Road, 633 Basket Road. It entails indoor dog daycare and a doggy daycare operation in one of the spaces. Fleet parking and space for Lockwood Electric, and then there would be a third space for rent or another business to occupy.
As soon as I finally figure this out, I'll be done as supervisor, but you just hit, when you said the town code right now, the way it's written, the town board has to refer to the planning board, anything that's in the industrial zone. That's
Among
the
others.
answer. And that's why I looked at some, why are we referring it over? I didn't know if it was a special. It's that. Got it.
And it will be coming back to this board
Yep.
ultimately for the industrial use permit at the
Yep.
end and a special use permit for the doggy daycare component. But it needs to go through site plan with the planning board first, if this board decides to refer it on.
Well, does anybody have some concerns about referring this on to the planning board for them to vet it fully?
I have none.
Neither. Kyle, should I keep my inside voice inside in the future? Think so? Is that your legal counsel to me? Okay. Jenny? Well, I don't know what department, who is most associated with dogs? Is the person would like to make this motion?
I don't think that involves any of us, but I will make a motion that we consider referring a proposed project located at 633 Basket Road, tax ID number 066.03-1-9.11 to the planning board for the purpose of conducting site plan review pursuant to section 350-22D of the Webster Town Code.
Second. Councilwoman Cataldi?
Aye.
Councilwoman Wright? Aye. Supervisor Flaherty?
Aye.
Councilwoman Wynn?
Aye.
Pat, I'll bet you're going to give the explanation on this, and all I can say is that I remember your predecessor came in here. This project has been going on for a long time. Wasn't it tied to something in Thomas too?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, been going on a long time, so bring us home.
Okay, that's what this is. That's an excellent segue. So this is a proposal to advertise for bids for a four-sided concrete box culvert associated with the Finn Park Regional Stormwater Facility. I've been in to talk about that project before. It's a very large stormwater and flood mitigation project that's located in a town park along Shipbuilders Creek. It's a unique project. It's a partnership between the town and Monroe County Soil and Water, which we're both funding it via grants. So this is literally the last component. When this component goes in, it's a culvert to allow Shipbuilders Creek to go through, but it also has the inlet portion that will allow the water, when it rises to a certain level within Shipbuilders Creek, to divert into these large storage ponds, which is the purpose of the project. This past year, we've had many, many rain events that have led to concerns about flooding along this waterway. We know it is prone to flooding. So way back, and Tom mentioned this back, I think 2016, they started work on this. 2018, some actual physical work began. A large proportion was completed in 2021, so we're slowly working away at this as schedule allows, because the town is doing a lot of the work, a lot of the construction work is our portion of the project. Now the physical ponds are there, but it's not directly connected to Shipbuilders Creek as it's intended to be. So we are going out for the last large material purchase in the form of the box culvert to have that. Once we get that purchased, town forces will install it this fall is the plan, and then this facility will be fully functional, and hopefully the residents downstream of here will start to see the effects of this facility very directly, which I know they'll be very happy about. Had some direct meetings with some of the folks closest to the lake along this corridor, about 14 or 15 of them last year after a really heavy rain event, and they were obviously very excited about this being online. It's taken a long time. Mark Stein and the engineering department helping put this RFP together so we can get it out to bid, get some numbers from our precasters, and get this in hand so that it can be installed and the project can be completed. Paul Adams isn't here. Usually I talk to him about the numbers because he's been involved since the beginning with all the financial portions. But I know he'll be very happy to get it off the books. You know, we'll have final numbers on it. It's a very, very large project, a very, very large financial commitment by the town, as well as the county. So the other thing, that's a good explanation of what the resolution is for. But I did receive what is our third addendum to the, it's not intermissible, but it's the agreement between Monroe County Soil and Water and the town, which dictates what portions are being paid for. And last year I did have some indication that, you know, they felt the project was strong enough and important that they were continuing to look for funds. Because the presentation I gave on the financial portion of this outlined that the initial planned cost to the town was much lower than it's what it ended up being. And they're very aware of that. They think the project is still very, very valuable. They understand what it means to our community as well as the county. So the addendum I have today actually increased the contribution that's coming from the county for this project, and it increased it by $85,600. So they've now gone from their original contribution was $393,000, and now it'll be $478,000. It will be their total contribution to the project as a whole. And there's over $100,000 of that is left. So until the project is completed, they won't reimburse their grant portion doesn't come over. So that's the other key part of this component in completing the project, so it will allow for the remaining funds earmarked by the county to come to the town to be transferred officially. Right now, that can't happen.
In 2 weeks, will we be looking at a resolution to execute that addendum?
It's a little bit longer. It'll be, I believe, the second June meeting. So the bids that we're advertising for will be due June 10th.
Yeah.
So it'll be whatever the meeting is after that. Hopefully it'll be clear, and they'll be able to come in with a resolution to make that purchase. And at that time, it'll probably be appropriate to dig back out the financials we've been over before, give an overview of the project as in totality. When we make that award to get that part done. But if we don't finish the project, those grant funds will not be transferred to the town. And it's gone so long now that we do start to come up against the time that they have to repurpose those funds. So we want to avoid that.
It's funny, Pat, now that you've explained it that way, I don't know, we should have maybe said to Barry Dean a week ago when we made the new highway facility out there in his honor. He would have been more excited to hear what you just said tonight, because this was always a bee in his bonnet. This thing was going on, it was dragging on so much. So I'm sure he's very happy if he's watching or whatever, but the end is in sight. Do you think he would like that more than the building?
I do, but it's not only his body that bee was in. I feel the same way, and I'm somewhat dismayed to find out that we've done all of that work, and it still isn't functional. So this last piece, this is great news. to finally bring this to completion. We'll all be happy, Paul Adams, all of us.
Great explanation, by the way, Pat. And you queued us up for a couple weeks from now on your contract list, right? Okay, well, whoever.
Well, maybe since this has been going on for a long time and it's very meaningful to you guys because you've been on the board the longest, I'll let you make this motion.
I will move that we solicit bids for precast concrete box culvert associated with the completion of the regional stormwater facility located in Finn Park off Gravel Road, to be advertised in the May 7th, 2025 edition of the Webster Herald. Bids will be due on Tuesday, June 10th, 2025.
Second.
Councilwoman Cataldi,
Aye.
Councilwoman Wright,
Aye.
Supervisor Flaherty,
Aye.
Councilwoman Nguyen.
Aye.
Okay, it's funny, this next one, as you can see, as our project, Kyle, plays out over the last few months. Kyle and me and myself and some other people are really trying to take a look at, what contracts need to come by the town board to authorize the supervisor to sign it. Now, Kyle, I'm jumping the gun, but the town law on this is so broad and thin, whatever, you could interpret it as everything, including a $5 purchase of bubble gum, up to the obvious ones, and we do 100,000. I say that because this one, it ends up being around $4,000. Is that correct? In total. It's for the assessment of the carbon.
I think it might be closer to 5, but
Is
it
it
is
closer to 5?
not a large amount of money.
It's over a 2.5-year period.
The only reason this one has come about and it needs action with this board is because our previous vendor for displaying property information was acquired by Schneider Geospatial, which is a company that does a lot of GIS and portals for assessing and the like. And we had an agreement with another vendor. That vendor was acquired by Schneider Geospatial, so there is a small amount required to transition to set up with the new system, and this system will be the community-facing portal when we move forward with the revaluation that's coming in 2027. But this will be the place where residents, property owners can go and look at the property and see the valuation, what's changing, and be able to confirm that the information that is on record is accurate before that exercise takes place or as part of that exercise. So that's why this resolution is here.
I love that explanation.
Great
That
explanation,
is
thank you.
fantastic. And even if we got through this process, Kyle and the other, we thought, this doesn't kind of fit the criteria because it's kind of the same company that got purchased. And it's $7,636 over a 30-month period. Just having Jennifer give that explanation, that was worth having this at the town board meeting and authorizing the supervisor, in my opinion. Because that was important information for everybody to hear. Thank you.
It is.
Okay.
Any other questions?
No, thank you.
I'll make a motion to authorize the supervisor to sign a professional services agreement with Schneider Geospatial LLC for online assessment data and hosting expiring December 31st, 2027.
Do we want to include that total that you just totaled up, Supervisor?
The $7,636.50.
50 cents, yes.
In the amount of $7,630.50 over the course of 50 months, or 30 months.
Second.
Councilwoman Wright? Aye. Councilwoman Cataldi?
Aye.
Supervisor Flaherty?
Aye.
Councilwoman Wynn?
Aye.
Art, I take it you're gonna take a shot at this one? Explain it?
I was gonna leave it with Patty.
Or Patty, sorry about
All right,
that.
I'll do it. All right, so this is a resolution for the supervisor to sign an amendment with Bartlett and Judas, in the amount of $16,550 for continued work regarding Shipbuilders Creek and DEC permitting. So as you recall, we discussed this issue at length last summer, last fall, and actually earlier than that. I think Supervisor, when you first started office, you came out and saw it. So on January 8th of this year, town board approved some design and permitting for B&L that regarding an 8-inch sewer line that is in need of support. It is across Shipbuilders Creek. It is eroded. There's no concrete around it and needs to be protected. The approach at that point was a step-by-step approach. Both the town and B&L met with DEC. We actually got them on site, which was just fantastic. Unfortunately, they're requiring some hydraulic modeling and some deeper permits. We were hoping to get an emergency permit from them. They did not agree with us. So this amendment is for hydraulic modeling and further permitting that is needed to help us move forward.
The important piece of that is to help us move forward.
Absolutely.
And I hope this isn't gratuitous. This project, when we looked at it last year, we applied for $1 million grant with WQIP, I think.
That's correct.
And that was to fix this thing, permanent, whatever. We did not get awarded that grant. Art came back with Barton and Judas in, I think, January of this year and said, well, here's a way we can do this for around $100,000. And to at least shore it up from the problem that it could be if that pipe burst and that sewage going into Shipbuilders Creek. And that $100,000 is more going to come out of the budget for this year and or the sewer reserve. I can't remember now if you are targeting going for QIP again on that $1 million total.
Yeah, we are talking about it. We need to continue talking about it. But I would like to clarify that this is just for the 1/8-inch pipe that is across the creek. Again, they're just downstream. There's other pipes that are exposed. There's manholes that are undermined, and this was the most urgent piece that we need to address today. The rest of it, we can't let go.
Yeah. Okay. No. Like I said, it might have been gratuitous, but if it's, me and town board members go, oh yeah, I remember this project. And we had that young lady come in and show us the three options, for the QIP, $1 million, $800,000, we decided with $1 million. And then she came back in, Aaron,
That's correct.
yeah, in January, and showed how hopefully for $100,000 or less with all the design, if it was emergency DEC, at least we'd get the most urgent thing done through our budget already approved and whatever. Not giving up on the total project, that maybe we'll get a grant. Okay.
I would move that we authorize the supervisor to sign an amendment with Barton and Judas in the amount of $16,550 for continued work regarding Shipbuilders Creek and DEC permitting.
Second. Councilwoman Cataldi?
Aye.
Councilwoman Wright? Aye. Supervisor Flaherty?
Aye.
Councilwoman Wynn?
Aye.
All right, right back to you, Art, huh?
All right, this is a resolution to have the supervisor sign a change order for Morse pipeline, the amount of $57,014.60. Change order includes some overages for some storm sewer that was installed on Schlegel Road, 123 feet of 12-inch, 50 feet of 18-inch, and 1 storm inlet. Also, this includes 15 storm sewer lateral connections. The storm sewer lateral connections from the homes, there was no record mapping. We had actually estimated 20 at the beginning of the project, and we only found 15. Again, this is all buried and don't know until you get there. Also, we'll be needing to dig back on the Schlegel Road sanitary school, Schlegel Road School sanitary lateral, and we have not done that yet. And this is a estimate of 150 feet of pipe and the restoration and trenching along with that. That final footage will be determined once we get there. We take elevation shots, but we're conservative in our number of 150 feet, and if we want to put in 75 feet, that's all that will be spent.
And I really enjoyed the meeting last week at the beautiful new conference room in the sewer at the admin building. Got a chance to meet Steve Morse and his daughter Caitlin. Really great people, and a lot of that conversation was built around we're finishing this project up. We're getting to the point where this is the approximate $7 million conveyance pipe project that takes from Fairlight, Tibor Road, meanders through the Xerox campus, goes down Schlegel Road, and then goes through a trunk line at Phillips, correct? And as the board knows, this is one that Fairlight is paying 96% of the principal and interest on the 10-year, what will end up being 10 years of financing. I'm doing my best Paul Adams impersonation right now. And as I've been a broken record on this, as long as the Coke Fairlife powers that be are aware of these change orders and are aware of these things, they're paying 96 cents on the dollar of this. And they have been made aware and understand what troubles we ran into on Schlegel Road. It was going too smooth there. It was going too smooth. The first 11,000 out of 12,000 feet, it was just, that last 1,000 feet, tough. For all the things we've already explained here. And like I said, as long as Fairlight was made aware, it was documented they were made aware, and they're okay with it, we're in good shape to get this all done. Go into August, pay the 1-year bond anticipation note, get the 96%, and then tie up the long-term bond terms, which Paul says will be the remaining 9 years of this, and then there'll be a payment schedule, and it'll be all done. Awesome.
One important thing I did miss on this, I didn't miss but neglected to share, was the fourth part of this is a credit back to the project of $36,570. That is air monitoring that was needed on Schlegel Road. The town paid that cost up front because we did not want a conflict of interest. And the agreement was made that we will pay it once that air monitoring is done. That will come back out of March, and which it is doing right now.
Well, I want to hold this up. That was the first time I had met Steve. And I know now why the Schlegel residents, who have had a tough situation, their yards have been dug up, it's been mud. But even when they called out to my office and complained about this, they've always said, but boy, I'll tell you, the people that are working in the hole with it, they're just such nice people. Well, Morse is a family business. Steve's in the hole. Caitlin's in the hole. The one son, Caitlin's brother, is on the backhoe or whatever. So this is just not a bunch of subcontractors that don't care. This is a family business, and I was really impressed. It it was cool to meet him. I've not met him prior, so.
Yeah, they're very good folks, and to be honest with you, I have taken possibly a handful of resident calls, because the residents have concerns, they walk right out and they speak with the marshmallow, and it's resolved right then.
What was the total cost of this project with the couple changes and then the credit? What did it turn out to be?
We haven't finished the project, so we don't have one final closeout numbers, so it should be done in the next 6 to 7 weeks.
And this is where Paul, we bonded it for $7 million, I would say.
Correct.
We originally thought it was gonna come in around 6.4. And then we ran into that last 1,000 feet. We've done some non-pro change orders that we did. There's credits coming back. I was really happy to hear the project was gonna be done somewhere around June 1st or June 30th, because then when the dust settles and all the bills come in, Paul can figure out exactly what it costs, and that's how we will tie up in August what the principal balance is on the 9-year remaining fixed part of the bond. Kyle and I and Patty are tentatively scheduled in July for a Circle the Wagons meeting with Fairlight and their attorneys, just to make sure we're all on the same page of the contracts that we signed with them, a year to 2 years ago. And I think that'll go very smooth. I think it's something, especially as we get into August, that's $7 million contract, as we get into their first payment on the $22.9 million tie into the sewer plant, and just all the other things that we have going with them. I just want to make sure that the seeker for their C of O, because now there'll be 2 years that have passed, and people might have different opinions of what it said. It's important that we get in the room in July and say, this is what it said. Let's not have any drama as we dovetail to October to December, when they want their certificate of occupancy, so they can start producing. And seeker is a big part of that. Anyway.
I will make a motion to authorize the supervisor to sign a change order in the amount of $57,014.60 for Marsh Pipeline.
Second. Councilwoman Cataldi?
Aye.
Councilwoman Wright? Aye. Supervisor Flaherty?
Aye.
Councilwoman Wynn?
Aye.
And I believe the next one is mine as well. These are items that we are surplusing and recycling from the sewer department. There are 8 items as listed on the agenda, and I would move that we send those to recycling.
Second?
Councilwoman Cataldi?
Aye.
Supervisor Flaherty?
Aye.
Councilwoman Wynn? Aye. Councilwoman Wright? Aye.
Well, not bad. We got through 13 resolutions, a couple of board meeting minutes, a public hearing, and 59 minutes. Pretty good. Now we'll go to the round table, and we'll start with Art.
All right, well, I think we already touched on the conveyance pipe, but there is asphalt going down, there is topsoil going down, but there's still work going on below ground. So they're working diligently to get everything done. Again, we definitely have some more time on that, but it's still, it's moving along. The wastewater treatment facility is really, it's moving at a fast pace. We've got crews working 10-hour days. Over the next few months, honestly, we'll have some large equipment deliveries of our belt press and blowers and things like that. So there's a lot going on. We'll be starting to convert one of our old aeration basins to the new technology. Our new aeration basin will come on at the same time, and then we'll work on the other 2. We will be starting to seed our digester, our new 1.1 million gallon digester, probably at the end of May. So that's a big step forward. Gravity thickeners will come online in the next concrete for weeks as well. So we're moving forward. The concrete in our dryer building is down. So we're coming above ground a little bit, if you will, which is good. So a lot going on. I do invite the entire board to come down and take a walk. I would ask to call beforehand, but we'd love to have you down. So, and the guys are out. Flushing and taking care of stations. And I would like to mention that one of our staff members in Charlie Sykes got his license today. So we've been working with him diligently. I reached out to Pat and who came over to help Charlie with a preacher.
Most recently, John Fooster.
Yeah,
Senior.
so that was nice to get different eyes on it. And second time was really a charm for Charlie, and really, really happy.
Pat?
Right, I can follow that. Charlie, well deserved on him. I'm glad that handout. Busy as well. So we are in the thick of mulch deliveries, our leaf mulch compost that we provide back to the residents as a result of our leaf collection in the fall is going out. I believe we're over 200 deliveries already so far, coming up on 1,800 cubic yards delivered, as well as the public pile for pickup. Over on Orchard Street is still been moving right along, so we're working through that. That'll go for another few weeks. We're out and about on the roads already. We started 2 different county efforts. We actually skipped down to Webster Park this week and paved a section of road for Monroe County Parks that we weren't expecting to do. Kind of came up in the last month or so, but the entrance to the dog park. Took it all the way from Lake Road up into the dog park. We helped them out by paving that. We're working on Plank Road for some drainage improvements for the county. We also are waist deep in our capital project on town on Crescent View. We've already poured one side of the road of new gutters for the capital project there. We're trying to get that done early this year because a lot of the preliminary underground work was done last year, so we're going to check that off out of the way so that we can continue to move on to whatever county work shows up, as well as our preventative maintenance plan in the chip seal program, or oil and stone as we know it. So off to a great start. Everything's going really well. And of course, last week had a really great event where we got to dedicate the building and do a ribbon cutting with members of the department, people that were involved in the project, as well as some local community members as well. Great event. Special thanks to Bridget when I set that up. I think it was the organization that was seen, and I don't think we would have gotten there without you, so appreciate that a lot. And 2 or 3 people already have said it's one of the better events that come to you of that nature. I would have to agree, but I'm biased. So it was great to have that event. The guys are getting settled in. It was great to see their reaction to what was going on. They finally got to kind of get to step back and take a look at the building, kind of in that light. And that was great to see also. So I think we're settling in nicely. It's beautiful. It's an amazing facility. It's going to be exciting to see what we can do out there.
Josh?
Well, we're starting to see the usual seasonal upswing in activity, building permits coming in and code enforcement complaints going up. And we're also, we did hold our first public workshop meeting associated with the comprehensive plan update project, which was pretty well attended. We were happy to see that there was about 40 to 50 people in attendance. Over the next few months, we're going to be bringing our public engagement efforts to the people, and we're going to be starting our pop-up events. First one will be on Saturday, May 10th, for Community Arts Day over at the high school. We will have a presence there and trying to begin engaging with our youth. And we will also have a booth at the summer celebration on June 7th at the rec center. So we encourage, we also have a survey that is accessible on the project webpage, and that'll be open through June 15th. So we encourage anyone interested in taking that to do so.
Kyle, what you got?
No update from the department.
All right. Janine, we'll finish with you.
No updates from some clerk's office.
All right, well, that concludes tonight's meeting. We are adjourned.